Hi, I'm Scarlett, and before I continue, please like and subscribe. One click from you means more stories can be shared. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers and make a difference. Let's begin. It all started 3 years ago when I married Jake, my college sweetheart. We were young, in love, and absolutely clueless about what we were walking into with his family, especially his mother, Vivian. Jake and I met during our sophomore year when we were paired for a marketing project. He was smart, funny, and came from what I later discovered was serious money. Not that you'd know it from his worn jeans and modest apartment. My parents wanted me to have the college experience, he explained when I finally visited his childhood home. Dad's idea of building character. The mansion took my breath away. 6 bedrooms, a pool, and a view that belonged in a magazine. Jake's father, Richard, was warm and welcoming. Vivian was something else. "You look beautiful," Jake whispered as we drove to his parents' mansion for our first dinner as a married couple. "They're going to love you." "Are you sure? Your mom seemed kind of cold at the wedding," I replied, smoothing my dress nervously. "She's just protective. Give her time to warm up," he assured me, squeezing my hand. "I don't know, Jake. The way she looked at me when you were cutting the cake, like I was something she found on the bottom of her shoe." "That's just her face," he laughed. "Trust me, once she gets to know you, she'll see what I see." "And what's that?" "The most amazing woman in the world. Time. If only time had fixed anything." From day one, Vivian made it clear I wasn't good enough for her precious son. "So, Scarlett," Vivian said that first night, swirling her wine glass as we sat in their lavish dining room. "Jake tells me you work in marketing? At some small firm?" "Yes, branding solutions. We're small but growing rapidly. I actually just got promoted to—" "How quaint," she interrupted. "You know, I always imagined Jake with someone from our circle. Perhaps Caroline Weathersby? Her father owns half of downtown." Jake's father, Richard, cleared his throat. "Vivian, please. Scarlett is family now." "Of course she is," Vivian replied with a smile that never reached her eyes. "I'm simply making conversation." That was just the beginning. Over the next year, the comments became more frequent, more cutting. "Darling, that dress is so brave. I wouldn't have the confidence to wear something so unflattering," she'd say at family gatherings. "Jake looks exhausted. Don't you cook for him, dear?" she'd whisper when others couldn't hear. "I noticed you had seconds at dinner. Bold choice with your figure," she commented at a holiday meal. I tried everything to win her approval. I helped with her charity events. I brought thoughtful gifts. I even started dressing differently. Nothing worked. "You can't keep letting her talk to you like this," my best friend Mia said over coffee one day. "She's a bully with a designer handbag." "What am I supposed to do? Jake thinks I'm exaggerating. He says it's just her way." "Her way is toxic. Have you been writing down what she says? Dates, times, exact words?" "No, should I?" "Absolutely. Document everything. You need evidence, Scarlett. These types of people are masters at making you look crazy when you finally stand up for yourself." "And what does your dad think? Didn't you say he was considering investing in Richard's business?" I sighed. "He is. Dad's looking to diversify, and Richard's tech company is promising. But I've kept the Vivian situation separate. I don't want to cause problems." "Maybe you should start documenting these incidents," Mia suggested. "Not to be dramatic, but this woman is systematically trying to break you down." I should have listened to her sooner. The situation escalated when Jake and I announced we were expecting. You'd think becoming a grandmother would soften Vivian. Instead, it made her worse. "A baby needs stability, Jake," I overheard her saying to my husband. "And Scarlett's family background is, well, you know. Your father and I could offer so much more if you were with someone more suitable." "Mom, stop it," Jake snapped. "I love Scarlett. This conversation is over." I was relieved he defended me, but hurt he hadn't told me about the conversation. When I confronted him, he minimized it. "Babe, you know how she gets. She'll come around when the baby arrives." "Will she? Because she's been horrible to me for over a year, and you keep saying she'll change. What do you want me to do? She's my mother. And I'm your wife. Your pregnant wife who's being treated like garbage. Our arguments about Vivian became more frequent. Meanwhile, my pregnancy was difficult. Morning sickness, complications, bed rest. Through it all, Vivian's comments continued. Pregnancy shouldn't be this hard on you. I carried Jake with no issues whatsoever. Perhaps it's a sign. The breaking point came at the baby shower Vivian insisted on hosting. I didn't want her to, but Jake thought it would help us bond. Isn't this lovely? Vivian beamed as 20 of her country club friends, none of mine, sipped champagne in her garden. I wanted to give my grandchild a proper welcome. My friend Mia, the only person I knew there, squeezed my hand under the table. "How are you holding up?" she whispered. "I feel like I'm in a bizarre play where I don't know my lines," I muttered back. "Ladies," Vivian called, clapping her hands. "Before we open gifts, I've prepared a little slideshow of baby Jake, so we can all see what my grandchild will hopefully look like." I felt my face burn as laughter rippled through the room. Mia's grip on my hand tightened. "I'm sorry," a woman next to me whispered. "Vivian can be much." During gift opening, I unwrapped a beautiful silver rattle from my parents. "How sweet," Vivian said. "Silver plate, I assume?" "Actually," my mother replied coolly, "it's sterling, a family heirloom." "Oh, well, we'll have to be careful it doesn't tarnish around the baby." Later, as we were having cake, Vivian pulled me aside. "Scarlett, dear, I've been meaning to talk to you about the nursery. I've taken the liberty of hiring a designer. The one you chose is so common. We've already finalized our plans, Vivian, but thank you." Her smile tightened. "I don't think you understand. I've already paid the deposit." "Without asking us?" "Vivian, that's completely inappropriate. What's inappropriate is your constant resistance to my help. Do you have any idea who we are in this community? The connections we bring? You should be grateful." "Grateful? For being constantly undermined and insulted? Don't be dramatic. I'm trying to elevate you, though clearly that's an uphill battle." I walked away before I said something I'd regret. When we got home, Jake and I had our worst fight yet. "She was trying to do something nice," he shouted. "No, she was trying to control us. Again, why can't you see that?" "Because you're determined to hate her. Maybe if you tried harder." "Tried harder? I've done nothing but try." That night, I called my dad in tears. "Sweetie, this isn't good for you or the baby," he said gently. "Have you thought about counseling?" "Jake refuses. He says it's a family matter. We should handle ourselves." And how's Richard's business doing?" "Dad, please don't mix the two." "I'm just asking. Richard and I are having dinner next week to discuss my investment. Just be careful, okay?" 2 months later, we welcomed our daughter, Lily. The birth was difficult, but seeing her perfect face made it all worthwhile. Even Vivian seemed charmed for about a week. Then the helpful suggestions began. "Scarlett, darling, the baby looks a bit jaundiced. Are you sure you're feeding her correctly? That crying means colic. You should be giving her fennel tea. I've scheduled a photographer for next week. The one you mentioned was so basic." The tension between Jake and me grew. He was working longer hours, leaving me alone with the baby and his mother's constant visits and criticism. Then came the dinner, the infamous dinner that changed everything. We were celebrating Richard's birthday at their mansion. My parents were invited, as my father had recently finalized his substantial investment in Richard's company. Lily was fussy that evening. I was exhausted, having been up all night with her. "Can't you keep her quiet?" Vivian hissed as I tried to soothe my daughter. "This is an important night for Richard." "I'm trying, Vivian." "Try harder. And fix your hair before dinner. You look dreadful." I took Lily to the guest room to feed and change her. When I returned, everyone was seated. My father was discussing business with Richard. My mother was chatting with Jake. Vivian was directing the servers. "Finally," she said when I sat down, "we were about to start without you." The dinner proceeded tensely. Vivian criticized everything from my parenting to my appearance to my contribution to the conversation. When Lily started crying again during dessert, I excused myself to check on her in the portable crib we'd set up in the corner. She's fine, Vivian announced loudly. Let her self-soothe. You're spoiling her. She might be hungry, I said, lifting Lily. She's not hungry. She was just fed. You're creating bad habits. My patience, worn thin by months of this treatment, finally snapped. With all due respect, Vivian, I'm her mother. I'll decide what she needs. The table fell silent. Vivian's face reddened. What did you just say to me? I said I'll handle my daughter my way. Vivian stood up, her voice rising. After everything I've done for you, the guidance I've provided, the connections I've given you. Connections? You've done nothing but tear me down since the day we met. How dare you? Jake, are you going to let her speak to me this way? Jake looked trapped. Mom, maybe we should all calm down. I will not calm down. This ungrateful girl has infiltrated our family and now she's turning you against me. I was trying to soothe Lily, who was crying harder now, when Vivian grabbed my arm. Put the baby down and listen to me. Let go of me. What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. As I pulled away, Vivian grabbed a fork from the table and jabbed it into my forearm. Not deep enough to cause serious damage, but enough to draw blood and leave everyone gasping. Mom! Jake shouted, jumping up. My father was on his feet instantly. What the hell is wrong with you? I clutched my arm, stunned more than hurt, as Jake guided me to sit down. Vivian seemed shocked by her own actions. I didn't mean to. My dad wasn't having it. Richard, control your wife before I call the police. Vivian, for God's sake, Richard muttered, his face pale. It was an accident, Vivian insisted, though her eyes told a different story. My mother rushed over with a napkin for my arm while Jake examined the wound. It's not deep, he said, looking shaken. But we should clean it. An accident? My father thundered. That was assault, plain and simple. You're overreacting, Vivian said, composing herself. It was a momentary loss of control. Scarlett has been provoking me for months. That's when my father dropped the bomb. Richard, he said coldly, our deal is off. I'm pulling my investment first thing in the morning. Vivian froze. What? Richard turned white. David, please, let's discuss this privately. There's nothing to discuss. I won't have my daughter and granddaughter around someone violent and unstable. You can't do that, Vivian cried. The company needs that money. We've already allocated it for expansion. You should have thought of that before you stabbed my daughter with cutlery, my father replied. Vivian literally swayed on her feet, grabbing the table for support. Richard, do something. But Richard just stared at his wife with a new awareness. What have you done, Vivian? In the days that followed, everything changed. My father did indeed pull his investment, forcing Richard to scramble for new financing. The incident forced Jake to finally see his mother clearly, and he insisted on marriage counseling. Most satisfying was watching Vivian's carefully constructed social facade crumble. Word of the fork incident spread through their social circle. The woman who had judged me relentlessly was now being judged herself. I heard Elaine canceled Vivian's charity committee position, Mia told me over coffee a week later. Seriously? Apparently, the board had concerns about her temperament, and the Prestons uninvited them from their anniversary gala. I shouldn't enjoy that as much as I do, I admitted. Are you kidding? After what she put you through? Enjoy every second. 2 weeks after the incident, Vivian showed up at our door with an elaborate gift basket. I've come to apologize, she said stiffly. My behavior was inexcusable. I looked at the basket, then at her. Is this because you're sorry or because Dad pulled his investment? Her expression flickered. Does it matter? I'm trying to make amends. It matters to me. You've been cruel to me for years. One apology doesn't erase that. Scarlett, please. We're family. No, Vivian. We're related through Jake and Lily. That doesn't make us family. I closed the door on her shocked face. It felt incredible. Jake was upset at first, but came to understand my position after several therapy sessions where I detailed the full extent of his mother's behavior. I had no idea it was that bad, he admitted. I'm so sorry I didn't protect you. Why didn't you believe me when I told you? I guess it was easier to think you were overreacting than to admit my mother was capable of that kind of behavior. And now I see her clearly, and I choose you and Lily. Every time. Richard and Vivian's marriage suffered in the aftermath. The stress of refinancing the company, coupled with social humiliation, exposed cracks that had long been papered over with money and status. As for us, Jake transferred to another branch of his company, and we moved 30 minutes away. Close enough for occasional visits, but far enough for peace. My dad eventually did invest in Richard's company, but with different terms and a stipulation that Vivian have no involvement in any family business matters. Richard agreed, having finally recognized the damage his wife's behavior had caused. Today, Lily is 2, and we're expecting our second child. Vivian is allowed supervised visits twice a month. She's still Vivian, critical and status-obsessed, but the power dynamic has shifted. She knows there are consequences to her actions now. Sometimes I look at the tiny scar on my arm and remember that dinner, the moment when years of subtle abuse became undeniably physical, and everyone finally saw what I'd been living with. It shouldn't have taken a fork to make them believe me. But sometimes in life, the truth needs to draw blood before it's recognized. So I ask you, have you ever had to go through something extreme before people finally believed what you were saying all along? What was your breaking point?